Have you ever wanted to explore the world of Irish mythology? Now you can. Powered by the 5th edition of the world's greatest role-playing game, the Heroes of Tara Player's Guide contains 3 new classes, rules for chariot driving, headhunting, curses with meaningful consequences, and many more features, all dedicated to bringing the ancient world of Irish legend to vivid life on the gaming table. Get your copy on drivethrurpg.com today.
You don't technically need this car. You say that out loud to yourself. You say, I have no space. You say, I'm just looking. Then you click. Then you zoom in on photo number 87 and whisper, oh no. Then you text a friend, the one who always enables you. You say to yourself, this is the last one, knowing it is not. You don't need this car. But maybe, just maybe, this car needs you. Bring a trailer. It's never just a car.
Hey y'all, it's time for Rolling Dice and Taking Names. In this episode, the guys review Lightning Train, Battle of Hoth, General Orders, and 12 Rivers. Also, a captivating conversation on plantar fasciitis and tennis elbow. So get your ice packs, ace bandages, and Tylenol ready. Yes, we've gone from lawn care to health care.
Hello and welcome to Rolling Dice and Taking Names. This is episode 359. Give it all you got. My name is Marty.
I'm Tony.
And Tony, instead of focusing on just one artist that passed away, we have a whole list of people that have passed away over the past several weeks. Now, Give It All You Got is from Chuck Mangione. Yeah. This famous song, I guess, from the 70s.
Mm-hmm. And whenever I hear this song, I always think of every 70s sitcom. Just the way it sounds. There's just something about it. It reminds me of the Taxi theme.
It's because it's a mixture of jazz and funk. And it was that funk sound that was kind of big in the 70s like that. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, is there another Chuck Mangione song that got popular? Or was this it?
I think there were others. I know that this is the one that when I was looking for songs, I'm like, okay, I didn't know any of the names. But as soon as I hit play on that, I went, oh, this is it. This is the one I truly remember.
Yeah, I remember actually hearing this. I hear it on the radio. I couldn't imagine today a song like this being a top hit on the radio. Jazz funk type instrumental. In fact, has there been any instrumentals that have been like, a chart been on the charts recently? That's just not a thing anymore. I mean, instrumentals still exist, but they're not like really pop songs anymore.
Unless there's anything that comes out during Christmas time from the New Age Christmas people, but I doubt it.
Not on the pop charts.
No, true, not on the pop charts.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking on the pop. But yeah, so Chuck Mangione passed away along with another musician, Ozzy Osbourne, which was kind of a surprise. I mean, if you've seen him, you go, well, he's kind of rough. But he just recently did a concert. I mean, just 10 to 14 days before he did that Black Sabbath concert. So, he had the energy and stuff to go out there and do that. So that was, it was surprising that so soon after that show.
Well, maybe that's where he said, that's it, I'm done. And he checked out. I don't know. You got to admit, Ozzy was kind of rode hard, put up wet.
He was. And he's been that way for decades.
I did watch the reality show with him and Sharon.
The Osbournes,
to see if I could even understand what the heck the man was saying. And I had no clue. It was kind of like, I was trying to think of the cartoon character that mumbled all the time, like Mr. Magoo or something. I'm like, oh man, yeah. Ozzy, all aboard, y'all, all aboard.
Yeah. So obviously it was going to be Crazy Train, but we've already used Crazy Train because we're actually going to cover a train game on the show. But yeah, we already used that one up. It's funny, right after he passed away, I pulled out some Black Sabbath and started listening to it and stuff. I hadn't listened to Black Sabbath in a while, just kind of a homage to Ozzy and what he and Black Sabbath pretty much established metal as a genre. So, And then we had sports figures. Hulk Hogan and Ryan Sandberg passed away.
Okay. What team did Ryan play for?
The Cubs. So in the 80s, my 2 favorite non-Reds players was Ryan Sandberg and Tony Gwynn.
I was going to say, Tony Gwynn was probably your other one.
I loved Ryan Sandberg. I have his rookie cards. I just liked him in general.
Mm-hmm. See, one of my favorites was always Popeye or Steve Garvey.
Yeah, for sure. First baseman for the Dodgers mainly. Or I guess the Padres too.
Yeah. I just remember his big old freaking forearms. That's what I wanted when I played baseball. Steve Garvey, forearms.
Yeah, I just remember the 80s Cubs from some reason with Sandberg, Mark Grace, those, of course. And oh my gosh, his name just left me. The Braves pitcher that started out with the Cubs.
Glavine.
Maddox. Yeah.
Maddox.
Greg Maddox. Yeah. And they traded him away, and the Cubs fans said, "You did what?" You did, and then went on to a very successful career with the Braves.
I was going to say, what? That was an incredible 80s. The Braves, the Smoltz, the Maddox, the Glavine. Oh, and Maddox didn't throw hard, but he didn't need to throw hard. But now we digress.
Have you ever watched any like interviews of people that faced Maddox?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just,
all the time.
Have you ever heard the story about basically where he set up a hitter for the risk that he might face them in the playoffs? So he gave them a pitch, and the pitch ended up being a home run, but he didn't care because they were so far up at the time. And it was like, what are you doing? It's like, just trust me. And then in the same situation in the playoffs, he catches him off guard and strikes him out. Or basically calling, say, I'm going to call, he called his own, this is back time when pitchers called their own pitches. And basically said, hey, I remember this one story I saw was like, I'm calling this pitch and he's just going to pop it out to the third base. And he popped it out to the third base. It's just a brilliant mind.
But we're talking about Ryan Sandberg. When Maddox goes, we'll spend about 20 minutes on that. Oh, my goodness. But yes, the Cubs back then in the 80s. But yeah, what can we say? The 80s baseball. Why do we know so many 80s? Because of the 80s baseball cards that we collected that are useless.
Oh, yeah, I know. And then finally, an iconic actress from a show that we've talked about many times on the show, from WKRP, Lonnie Anderson.
In Cincinnati.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize how old she was, but this was what? WKRP was early 80s, late 70s?
Late 70s.
Late 70s? Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah. So we're talking, almost 50 years ago.
Oh, such an amazing cast. How much does she make?
Every character on that show was just amazing. Lonnie Anderson is one of those who's been out of the limelight so long, you just don't think about her. And then when she passed away, it's like, oh yeah, that's right, yeah. But I will say, I was more of a Bailey man.
Oh, yeah, I can understand that. Innocent girl Bailey, yeah, definitely.
The girl next door.
All this means for everyone listening is we're old.
That's right. It's like, guys, every episode, it's like, but all the iconic people we grew up with are passing away. It's like, yes, and it's going to happening more and more frequently. So just let it go. But it's a good way to reminisce and talk about, people in the past and stuff like that. So that's cool.
Which were formative for us, and that's why we do some of the things we do here.
Yeah, exactly. From sports to TV to music, all this was kind of very influential for us. Speaking of sports, I owe you an apology, sir.
Why?
For a long time, I picked on you about pickleball. I thought this is silly. Pickleball, come on, just go play tennis. So I had the opportunity to go play pickleball with probably about 12 other people. It was just like getting together. If you've never played, come try it out. I said, all right, I'm going to come try this thing out. First off, let me say, do not go and play any sort of outside activity after eating Taco Bell and it's 95 degrees and humid.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got on the pickleball court and started playing. I went, this is not good. But anyway, so I finally got my first time to play. And I must say that I enjoyed my time playing it. Mm-hmm. Good Lord, the English you can put on a ball. So I was playing against this one guy. He's probably in his 60s. So I'm the type of player too that I like to put English on a ball, tennis, ping pong, or whatever. And so I know what to look for. And the guy would hit a return. And I saw the spin he was going to put on it. It took me an hour to figure out how this ball is going to bounce because I kept expecting it to bounce like a tennis ball. Mm-hmm. And it does not. Mm-mm. It hardly bounces at all. So, with tennis, you're supposed to hit the ball at the apex, at the highest peak on a bounce. That's when you're supposed to hit it. I was late on everything. So I was always hitting the ball as it was going down towards the ground because I was backing up and expecting it to bounce further. It literally took me 1 hour to figure out where the stupid ball is going to bounce. So when he's putting English on this thing, it is really screwing me up because you could put way more English on this ball than you can a tennis ball. So I'm prepped for it to come inside on me, and it goes way inside on me.
And your reaction times aren't the same as they are in tennis. Tennis has a lot less reaction time because the ball is coming so much faster. And all these, you can watch the pro YouTube videos and all these pros, you can watch it on ESPN now. But I mean, some people talk about how if it hits on the circle, the dot, the open area of the wiffle ball, that's the pickle ball, it will do a different thing versus one, and you got to be ready for all this. And I'm like, I just want to hit the ball, not fall on my face, and have a good time. I don't need to go into that level of detail, but I'm glad you had fun. I'm glad you enjoyed playing it, and that did they ever sucker you into the kitchen and then nail you with it?
Not really.
They were playing nice.
We played doubles, so there was somebody. I mean, there was always a guy behind me to kind of protect against that anyway. But the rules is what got to me. Okay. I'm like, this whole kitchen thing, and it's like, how many times before I can go there? I could not keep it straight. It's like, okay, you hit, I hit, you hit, I can go now? It was, I don't like the whole kitchen concept. I'm not used to there's being a spot on the court you can't, if you just say you can never go there, that's fine. But it's like, you can't go there until this condition happens, and then you can go there.
Right. You cannot hit the ball while you're in the kitchen. It's basically how I boil it down. If you hit the ball and it has not bounced, then it's weird. I just stay out of the kitchen except when I need to actually cook at the house. But some people will sit there and that's why you'll sit there. Why are these people just dinking right there at the net? Because that game is simply just a net game at that point, and you're just trying to sucker people in with these little dinks across the net.
So that's another thing too, is the game at the net was weird because in tennis, you try to keep people to the baseline, right? I mean, it's long, deep strokes. So I'm used to staying back towards the baseline typically. So this concept, no, Marty, you got to go in. You got to go in now. The game's at the net. What are we talking about? It's at the net. It's like ting, 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 ting. It just, I don't know. It was, serving was weird too. Whichever side you're on, they serve. I didn't understand why in doubles, both sides get serves. It seems like it would go back and forth. That was weird to me too.
Yeah. 0-0-2, 0-0.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah. Keeping score. Yeah. Yep.
Anyway.
Well, I'm glad you tried it.
I did. Unfortunately, because aside from the heat and the Taco Bell. So I've messed up my foot. So it's that classic, I didn't even know what it was, plantar fasciitis. I went running several months ago and landed wrong. And it's like, man, my heel hurts, thinking, okay, I've bruised my heel. That was my thought. I bruised the heel. So it'd get better, get worse, get better, get worse, get better. It was fine. I went and played Pickle Ball and was like, yeah, you should not have done that. And then like a week after, I'm heading over to Gen Con, where I did almost 100,000 steps at Gen Con, like 16 miles a day. So today I finally go to the doctor. It's like, I'm tired of dealing with this and go to the doctor. I obviously, this is a very common thing. Have you ever had it before?
No, but Donna's fighting with it. She's been fighting with it for probably 4 months now.
Plantar fasciitis is basically a swelling of a tendon that's on the bottom of your foot. And to me, the pain from it doesn't. Editor Marty here. Plantar fasciitis is an inflammation of a ligament, not a tendon. You're going to hear me say tendon a lot. It's ligament. Now, excuse me while I go spend my $5 gift card at Miniature Market. And to me, the pain from it doesn't feel like it's a tendon. And again, it feels like a bruise. So anyway, what I have on right now is I have a little foot support brace that raises up my arch and gives ankle support. At night, he's given me this brace where I attach it to my leg and it pulls my foot towards my body to stretch that tendon. I'm supposed to do that for 30 minutes every night. He says, what kind of shoes you wear? I said, Skechers. And he went, no. You cannot wear Skechers. You got to go get Asics, Brooks or something. So I got to go shoe shopping. He said, what kind of running shoes do you have? And I said, well, jogging shoes, like the soft shoes like Skechers. He went, no, you cannot do that. So he gives me this whole litany of things I need to change to make it better. And the last thing was like, look, I can give you some anti-inflammatory medication to take where maybe only 20% is going to hit that heel, or you get a cortisone shot.
There you go.
So I had my brother-in-law tell me getting a cortisone shot was one of the most painful things he's had. And so I'm like freaking out about this. So he said, you get the cortisone shot, you're going to feel good for quite a while. So I said, all right, let's do it. So they come in and they take a sonogram of the swelling. Your tendon's supposed to be 3 millimeters. Mine is 7.5. So that's how much inflammation there is in it. So he pulls out this needle. I'm going, oh my gosh. And he goes to the inside of my, below the ankle, right below the ankle bone. He first takes some sort of icing thing. It's not liquid nitrogen, something to freeze the area. He said, you're going to want to put your head back. You do not want to watch this. Dude, I'm freaking out in my mind. So he goes 3, 2, 1. I feel the pinch and it goes in. It's like, this is weird. So I'm going, because I'm expecting this huge thing of pain. I don't know from what, but I'm just breathing like this. And he said, all right, I'm now going to use the sonogram to position the needle where I can get it good. So he starts moving around. I'm grasping onto the thing. He goes 3, 2, 1. It's out. And I go, oh, I said, well, that was uncomfortable, but it wasn't excruciating like I heard it was. He said, well, no, it's not like a kidney stone or something. So it was just weird, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Well, he didn't help. He said he gets cortisone shots in his tennis elbow, which we're going to talk about in a second, to take care of that. And he says sometimes he almost passes out from it. So I'm thinking, if the doctor's going to pass out, what am I going to do? But maybe that part of the body isn't as bad for pain or something. I don't know. But anyway, I've got a shot. I've got braces. I got to get new shoes. So I'm trying to get better.
Old man stuff, old women stuff here. Because yes, my foot doctor. So I don't have plantar fasciitis. I have the other condition that happens over time where your toes begin to cross over one another. And you have to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I have special inserts in my shoes, in my New Balance, which is what my doctor recommended because he took my Skechers and he says, you need support. He takes my Skechers and bends them in half. He says, do you think this is support?
Yeah, he did mine too. He said, you're not supposed to be able to twist them like wringing out a rag.
He goes, yes, they're comfortable. They're light. They're easy to wear. But he's like, this is not good for your foot. And he says, and you get what you pay for. So realize that. I'm like, fair enough, doc.
I paid $120 for these Skechers.
Okay. Well, there you go. And they can still be twisted like a spaghetti noodle.
But it's the slip-on. It's the slip-ons, though.
I know they're the slip-ons. I watched you slip onto them. But yeah, I'm with you. And he came in. They froze between my big toe, my big piggy, and my this little piggy went to the market. This little piggy stayed home. They froze between those two. He took out the needle, and I go, and you're doing what with that?
I mean, this is cortisone too?
Oh, yeah. They had the cortisone on my left foot, and they ran the needle in between the two toes. I'm like, okay. I went potty before I came in here. It's a good thing, but I did not have the pain. There was no pain with it.
Okay.
So I was like, thank goodness. And then he's like, okay, here are your special $500 inserts that you have to go get for both feet, because I have another issue with one of my feet. And it's just years of improper care and shoes for your feet.
So interesting on inserts. He said you can also do insurance, and insurance covers it.
Some insurances, mine does not.
Okay.
My insurance would cover some. It's like going back to the medieval ages inserts, where it's just
audience.
Not worth it.
This is what you came for, isn't it? To talk about feet problems.
It's all part of life, and they know that. They know that what they're getting when they start listening to this. They appreciate that. They're learning.
So I honestly, I didn't know the whole concept of foot support like that. So I will do better in the future. And I mean, nice thing is the guy said, it's going to get better. He said, you take care of it. It's going to get better. And then you just continue doing your exercise and stuff. And we'll get the inflammation gone, which is good. But he said, you cannot run for like 3 weeks. He said, the problem is next week, you're going to feel good. He said, do not do it for like 3 weeks and do all these exercises. Do the physical therapy. That's what he said.
Right. And Donna's going in for the electrostimulation to get rid of it, to help her, see if that will help. And I'll tell you all about that. And she goes and gets 4 over the next 3 weeks. So come back, y'all, for that story about the electro. We even bought for her, if you have a massage for your a massage gun thing, put that on the bottom of the heel to help you with stretching the muscle and everything. She does that too. And so there you go. Oh, and I put in the show notes, tennis elbow. I've never had tennis elbow. I'm fighting tennis elbow. Don't know how I got tennis elbow. I'm doing my PT. I go see the doctor, and he's going to tell me, all right, how's that going? Or he's going to do the cortisone shot in the elbow. I am leaning away from that because, like you said, I have heard that that is not a pleasant shot, and I don't need that if I'm getting better.
Okay.
It's still uncomfortable, but it's not as where it was waking me up whenever I would roll onto my elbow at night. So every hour I was waking up. I'm at least now sleeping 4 to 5 hours now.
And what sucks is, y'all, Tony and I are active. It's not like we just sit on but we try to go out and do things and be active. But the doctor said, yeah, you just can't do the activities like you used to when you were young. It's like, why is that the answer to everything when I go to a doctor? It's like, well, you can't do that anymore. You're getting older.
I mean, I still push my lawn. I still do the pickle ball when I could before the elbow flared up and Donna's plantar fasciitis kicked in. But yeah, I mean, it's like, good gosh.
You're sad and pathetic. You know what? That's enough of that. Maybe we just need to go talk about some games and do some more uplifting topics here.
Wintertime is just around the corner, believe it or not, even though it's around 95 degrees here in the South right now. It's coming. Fall's coming. So what does that mean to you?
I don't know.
Well, it means it's about time to start getting ready to go inside and hunker down. Because we don't do cold here.
Fair.
And what better way to hunker down is get your game table from Game Toppers so that you can have a nice dedicated site in the house, ready to go. Have that game laid out. People are coming over. You don't have to clear anything. Just leave that sucker out there.
I do that in the basement. I got one down there right now.
I got to go get some leg kits so I can set mine up upstairs so I can play my, I don't know, this game that came out from Isaac Childress 20 years ago or something. Still sitting in the freaking box. If I had that Game Topper leg kit, by gosh, I would do that. You know what? I can do that because you can still do the late pledge now. Head over to the Game Toppers website. Click on the link that will take you over to the Kickstarter. You can click on that late pledge now, pick you up some legs. If you got one of the big tables like I have, one of the best things he did with those leg kits is he inset the ones in the middle. So you're not ramming the legs as you slide underneath it. He's got the support there, but you're not bucking against. The only thing that your knees are hitting is the person sitting beside you. All right, what else do we have over there? We got some mats over there at the late pledge. Man, gorgeous mats. Marty and I talk about these all the time. As a matter of fact, when we go to game night at Qdoba's, people come over and they say, what game are y'all playing? What is that it's sitting on? We're like, it is the protection against the salsa to the board game. That game map is not letting anything bleed through. Or if somebody gets a little spicy with their nachos and starts flinging stuff everywhere, happens every once in a while where it drips off, it's not going to stain my Game Topper because I have Scotch guarded it and it did not deteriorate the color of that map. Game Toppers LLC. Be sure to check out their late pledge.
Tony, another super hot game at Gen Con was Battle of Hoth. This is distributed by Asmodee Games. The publisher is Days of Wonder from Richard Borg and Adrian Martineau. Now, before we get started, I will ask, are you a fan of the Memoir 44 system?
I am, but for those who don't know, not everybody's a Star Wars kind of person. This is Star Wars Battle of Hoth. Just saying Fair. Battle of Hoth. What's Hoth?
Because it actually says Star Wars Battle of Hoth. Yeah, so not my bad.
No problem. No problem. Not all of us are these Mandalorians or these Androidorians or whatever that thing you've been watching.
Androidorians.
I have no idea.
So anyway, do you like the Memoir 44 system?
I do. I like the Memoir 44. I've played the base game. I've incorporated some of the additional expansions to it. I still want to get the Air version out.
There's an Air version?
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to get the Air version.
I need to figure that one out because I don't have... It says, with this expansion, here's the Air. And I'm like, wait a minute, what if I don't have that expansion?
Oh, okay.
So I got to dig into that a little bit more. But yeah, so Star Wars Battle of Hoth. Yeah, Memoir 44. If you know how to play Memoir 44, you know how to play this.
Right. But if you don't, just like if you don't know what Battle of Hoth is, you may have never played Memoir 44. So just a 20,000 foot overview. You got a board with hex tiles on it, and you have units that you're going to place on the board. All your actions are going to be driven through cards. So you're going to have cards in your hand, and the cards will typically tell you which units you can activate. The board is divided into 3 sections when you're looking at it. There's a left section, center, and right. One of my cards may be you could activate 2 units on your right-hand side. An activation means I take them, I can move them, and there's just rules of movement for how they can far they can move, etc. And there's rules of attack. So maybe if I move 1 space, I can attack. The basic units in Battle of Hoth is if you move 2 spaces, you can't attack. But here you can. And then your attack is resolved through dice. Depending on how far you are, is how many dice you're going to roll. Again, as an example, the rebels or the rebel units is if you're 3 spaces away, you roll 1 die. If you're right beside them, you actually get to roll 3 dice. And then whatever you're attacking, on a little handy dandy reference sheet, it will say, if these icons come up when you roll your dice, you will deal damage. A blast icon, 1 out of 6 chance, always deals damage. And then depending on the type of unit, another marking on the die may deal damage. And when you deal damage, you remove a piece from the board. A unit may be made up of like 3 little models. When the last model is removed, it actually goes to the other, or the person who took it out, it goes to their victory point display. And all this is scenario based. So depending on the scenario you play, it will say, once you collect so many victory points, you win the game. So that is a really high level of, like Memoir 44, card driven, simple dice resolution combat game.
That's it. For the Alliance, you've got your little rebels out there. And then you've got some speeders, snow speeders that you remember from the movie Empire Strikes Back.
You got stationary turrets too.
And you got stationary turrets. Now, if you're playing the Empire side, guess what? You got some stormtroopers or snow troopers. Then you got some droids that were hunting down Mark Hamill and Chewbacca and Han, and they blew it up. That should tell you which one it is. And then you got the Walker.
The at Walker, baby, which is a really cool figure when it's sitting on the map.
Yes, it is. Did you know when they made Star Wars back in the 1980s? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this one was an 80 release. Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back. That the Walker sound came from them were going to a steel plant where they were cutting sheets of metal.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I remember watching how they made all the sound effects. This was back years ago. And for some odd reason, that is still in the recesses of my mind, but they were recording when the press would come down and cut the metal and and then they would do that. And Marty's Googling this to make sure I am right, but I'm pretty...
No. There's another sound that I know how they did, but I can't remember now what sound it was for.
Okay. But anyway, you've got all these scenarios in a book. You've got campaigns.
Sorry, I'm cutting in. This is it. So the Star Wars blaster sound was created by hitting a tension steel cable with a wrench.
Cool. And then, of course, they put it through the amplifiers and modulates and all that crap.
Sure. Foley stages back then were so cool because they used actual things and not some digitally generated sound.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And they would sit there and do various things till they say, hey, that sounds good. You know?
Yeah. So the blaster. I knew there was something where they hit a steel cable. That was it.
And when Marty and I played, he was the Empire, I was the Alliance in our scenarios. And my Alliance, or Rebels, sorry, my Rebels went to sharpshooter school with troopers. They couldn't hit anything. It was so sad. That's about this game. If you don't like randomness of dice, don't even look at it.
Yeah. Usually it's the stormtroopers that can't hit the broadside of the barn. This time it was the rebels that couldn't hit the broadside of the barn. So this is a light war game to where, yes, the dice just may not go your way. In fact, with any war game that has dice resolution, that's what may happen. And there's not any dice modification here. It's not like, pick up and re-roll. Now, there are cards that you can play that make your ability better or your chances better by maybe you get to roll an extra die. I had a card, and you had one too. It's like, hey, on this turn, activate this, roll 1 extra die for attacks.
Right. Another thing that's important, two things I want to bring up real quick. Your Walker was really cool. If I hit it, I had to have that confirmation kill by rolling a blast, a 1 in 6 chance to blow it up. That was very well done. It sucked for me, but I like what the chances are for that, because if you remember from the movie, it took them a while. They had to figure out how to take it down. Other than that, they never took those things down. So you had to have that. That was kind of thematic in a way for me.
Yeah, I will say the game really captures the Star Wars feel, especially on that Battle of Hoth, which is the Empire Strikes Back, the fighting on the snow planet with the droids and the terrain. And by the way, this does come with the scenario book. So you're going to pick a scenario that you want to play. There's 18 scenarios in here. They start from very simple and they get more complicated over time. These scenarios will tell you the type of terrain tiles to put down. There's some tiles that block line of sight. There are some ridges that if you stand on top of them, you're harder to hit, but it helps you with line of sight. So there's all these different terrain information that'll be adjusted over the course of the game. You also, I like this, Tony, is you have leader cards, 3 leader cards that you can put into your command deck. And depending on which scenario you're going to do, you can choose which your leader cards include in the deck.
Right. And I know for me, being the Rebels, I had Luke, Han, or Leia, and Luke had 3 cards, Leia had 3 cards, Han had 3 cards. Don't mix those. You pick Luke, Leia, or Han. And you had Darth, and I don't know who your other 2 were that you had a chance to pick from, but those were special power cards.
Depending on the scenario, there might be one leader that's better fit for you. Now, you mentioned luck of the roll. There is also another luck part of this game. Sometimes you need to, for example, I really need to activate a unit on the left-hand side. If you don't have a card in hand that activates the left-hand side, there's nothing you can do. And that's just luck of card draw. That's another part of Memoir 44 because of how simple it is. Sometimes the card draw does not work in your favor at all.
Right. If all your units are eliminated, then you basically have to, on that, and all you have is left side of the board for 3 cards because you have 3 cards in your hand and you got no
or depending on the scenarios, how many cards you have in your hand.
True. Yeah. Sorry. And you're saying, hey, I've got nothing. Play a card, discard a card, draw a new card. You know that's going to happen. Now, I did not feel it like I did in Memoir 44, where when I recently played, which was less than a year ago, I felt like this was a lot more balanced for some odd reason. I didn't feel like that was happening to me.
Yeah, it is a pretty balanced game. And also too, that there's a line that breaks up the board into thirds. And if you have a unit in the hex, that's where that line goes down the middle, that's considered in both sections. So it may be considered in left and right, which is good strategy. That means this unit can be activated with a card that either commands the center section or the left section. So those hexes are really valuable.
It's a fun, fast-playing game. When we get to later scenarios, maybe we'll come back on, tell y'all how much long, but they say 30 minutes play time. Shoot, the way Marty was rolling, I was done in 15. So, I mean, it can go that fast. But guess what? Like, it's hard to set up? No. Go to the next scenario, go again, roll them up again. Let's go.
And I will say the reference cards in this game are so good. It's nothing but symbols, but once you understand how to read the card, it tells you exactly how far you can move, how many dice you can roll, what dice it will take to injure you. All that's written out very well. And you at Gen Con got to spend a little time with Richard Borg as he was actually demoing this game.
That's right. If I had only known who he was, that would have been even better for me. Until I put it together, then it was like, okay, but we still don't have to talk about this game. Let's just talk. Let's just be 2 people talking over this stuff.
That's so funny. So funny. So a very hot game. I think the price was $60. I think at Miniature Market or something like that. It was around $60.
Yeah, and pre-orders are sold out already. So y'all...
Oh, they are?
Yeah, you need to get on that notification. If you haven't already signed up for notifications at Miniature Market, you definitely need to do that for this game.
Yeah, so the models are super nice. It has really nice inserts. It has this little plastic case that each of you would have that have all your units in them and everything. So it's really well organized. The rules are very straightforward. If you like that system and you like Star Wars, it's kind of a must-buy. It really is, and it plays so fast.
I agree. So definitely get that. Hey, I'm looking forward to playing this with you again, with my son-in-law, with my daughter. I do like the fact that if everybody has a Battle of Hoth, Supreme Commander, whatever the big one is, where you can hook all the boards together.
And play like 4v4 or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So that is Star Wars Battle of Hoth from Days of Wonder.
5-minute initiative begins in 3, 2, 1.
12 Rivers from publisher Good Games Publishing, designed by Roman Cartagian is a game where your village is collecting pearls that are coming down the river.
12 rivers.
There's 12 of them up there.
Depending on player count. With 3, it's only 9 rivers. But anyway.
And with 2, it's only 6.
Yeah. Some of them are maybe dried up with less than 4 players.
The turns are very simple.
Well, hold on. No. Explain the board. This is cool. This is what's unique about this game.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. Before you, on your turn, there's 5 rounds. You have 3 tribe tokens. And you're going to take these tribe tokens and you're going to put them out on this river board that is divided. It's not Plinko. What? It's a bunch of tributaries leading to a lake. And on these, it's a styrofoam board with this beautiful art. And in there are various sections where you will place your tribe tokens like little floodgates.
And it's inclined. And the pearls are marbles. I mean, get to the good stuff. The pearls or marbles are going to slide down these tributaries and you collect these marbles.
See, I'm trying to stay with the pearls. I'm building it up. Yes, you do that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, but pearls, it could be, somebody may think that's just a token. No, this is what's cool about the game. It's a tilted playboard with marbles that roll down these little trenches, basically, in the board.
And you're trying to capture your ones by placing out your tribe markers. Potion Explosion. Was it Gizmos? All these games.
That also use marbles, yeah.
I mean, they're using marbles. Now, unlike Potion Explosion, where, when you pull and you make the clank, you don't know what marbles are hidden. Here, there's one marble behind on each of the rivers. So you know basically how they're going to flow. There's no hidden knowledge here.
You can see that, okay, in this tributary, this marble is going to come down this one, and then join this other tributary. These 2 marbles are going to come down this one. These 3 marbles are going to come down this one, and you can place your gates wherever you want along the path to either capture one specific marble, maybe 2 marbles, 3 marbles. The further you go down, the more chances you have to catch them. But Tony, the part of the game is trying to block out others from getting what they want or guarantee what you want, which may hurt somebody else who's later down the river that may want a marble that you're going to get.
Absolutely. There's your strategy of this game. And the way you place these tribe markers is you have to pay cards from your hand that you're dealt with and that you may collect. The higher up you go, the more cards you have to play. Now, these cards have dual purpose. They can pay for you placing the tribe markers into the river, or you can play 2 of them and get a special action, which maybe could be collect 2 marbles on your turn, or move one of your tribe markers that you've already placed to another location without paying that cost, which is pretty darn powerful. But yeah, I mean, you're sitting there thinking, okay, where are you going to place your tribe marker? I don't know. Where are you going to place your tribe marker? Well, I need that marble. Well, maybe I need that marble. Well, then maybe we can work together, but there ain't no working together.
No, there's not. And the marbles that you want are going to go onto a alpaca board to collect your marbles as they come down. But you're also going to claim village cards that will also take these marbles. Now, these village cards are going to have scoring mechanisms, and each card is going to be different. One may be, if I get 1 of every color, I get X amount of points. If I get 4 of the same color, I get X amount of points. So that's when you're trying to decide, it was like, to fill up this card, I need that marble, and that marble. And that's where the planning comes in. And also, to get those village cards, you place your tribe marker down at the very bottom of the board to claim those cards. If you want first choice, it'll cost you 2 cards. Second choice is 1 card. Or you could take third choice, but somebody may take one that you really wanted from you, and that third choice would be free.
Right. Now, another thing is, the higher up you are on the river, on your turn, and you remove, you process this left to right, top to bottom. The first person who removes their gate will be last. Their tribe marker will be last the next round. So if you're the last person to remove your tribe marker, you will be first. You could also have back-to-back tribe markers on turn order. So that's kind of strategic and also in your placing. There's also one special place on the board, the lake, where if not all the marbles are collected and they drain into the lake and you're the one person down there, you get all those marbles, provided your alpaca has the ability to carry them.
Space for them.
Yeah, has space. Also, if your alpaca suddenly falls in love with the color blue and you collect enough blue on your alpaca, you get those points at the end of the game, the special victory point for collecting all blue on your alpaca one time. You collect it, you're the 1st to get it. Hey, congratulations.
That's right. And at the very end of the game, you're going to score after playing 5 rounds. Each color has a certain value. For example, there's less white marbles than any other, but that's also the most valuable. And then they go down in denomination from there. So you're going to count all the marbles you collected, count up those points, and then points you get from the village cards, and the person with the most points wins.
But Marty, why don't I always, other than cards, want to always go at the top of the river? Are there any special tokens on this river spread about? Are there any special little fairies flying around, sprinkling their little dust?
There are these things called fairy tokens that are put out at the beginning of each round in the 3-player game. There's 3 of them placed out there. And if you place beside one of the fairy tokens, you get that token. That also lets you do something. You can spend that to maybe make a wild spot on yours.
Maybe not even have to pay for placing your tribe marker out there.
Yeah. All right. So that's really kind of the gist of the game. Tony, this was a hot game at Gen Con. They sold a lot of these. A lot of people were demoing it, and a lot of people were talking about it because it's a very interesting game. I will say right off the bat, the gimmick, and I'm using air quotes around this because it's something that really works, actually works within this game. It's not something that's like, oh, this is dumb. It didn't need to be this. No, it kind of needed to be this. The way the marbles flow really works, there's no luck at all. You know exactly where every marble is going to go to, so you can plan to try to get the marble that you want.
Exactly. It's the strategic placing of the tribe markers against one another. This is very family weight, though, meaning that you're not going to have to worry about heavy thinking, marble flowing, placing them, and doing all this manipulation. No, this is nothing. This is a fun family weight game. Really good quality. I mean, in all honesty, for our game group, it might be a little too light. But for me and the family, hey, for Donna, yeah, this would work out well because, once again, the strategies in placing the gates, not so much as knowing where all the marbles are going to flow. So very family friendly.
And a game that only lasts 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the number of players. So yeah, it is a perfect family weight game.
That is 12 Rivers from Good Games Publishing.
5-minute initiative is complete.
We're in between Gen Con and Essen. Head over to miniaturemarket.com where you can buy stuff that came out at Gen Con or start pre-ordering stuff that's going to come out at Essen. You're not going to Essen, so you can't do the pickup over there. That's all right. Just order it from Miniature Market, where you can get good, deep discounts on their games. You can get inexpensive shipping, or you can actually get free shipping if you just order $100 or more. Or if you don't have enough in your cart to break that $100 mark, just put it on hold. And when you do, just release it when you break that $100 mark, and you can get that shipped to you for free. They ship via UPS, so they're very fast with their shipping now. Go check out their YouTube channel where they're playing games all the time on there. They're showing some of the latest games or playthroughs of stuff that they get. And so if there's something there that you see, you can head right over there to the website and order it right there. Use our link on our website, rolldicetechnames.com, where you can help us out by giving us a little bit back to the show when you spend on those great games over at miniaturemarket.com.
One of the hot games at Gen Con, Lightning Train, designed by Paul Dennen, published by Dire Wolf. It's a train game. For anybody who's listened to and don't know why you've listened to over 358 episodes, you know we love our train games. We love our deck building games.
Why?
I don't know, but
so I've been pondering, what is it about train games that appeals to me and a lot of other people? I think for me, Euro games based on a train theme are the least abstract Euros I've ever played. Mm-hmm. The idea of I'm taking actions to build lines, to pick up goods, deliver goods better than anybody else. To me, just like everything's there. I hate Euros that's like, here's the theme, and then you forget about it. The game mechanics, the way you play, typically works, and everything works within a train game itself. And this is no different. I mean, the core of this game, building rails, trying to establish rails to cities that have goods and take them back to cities that need those goods.
And I was wondering if it was also because we are so used to playing games with the train theme that we always seem, no matter what you put on it as far as the mechanic, we know what to expect. And we appreciate that. Any of the 18XX games. You know, we start off with Ticket to Ride. and then Railways of the World, the ones from Capstone. There's a litany of these train games that all, to your point, have similar mechanics, and it just feels good to us. We know what to expect, what we need to basically do. The basic concept. I've got to build a network. I may have to build some stations, and I'm going to have to move some goods, and somehow I'm going to get victory points, and it's not going to be as mundane as I'm going to convert 2 grain to 1 sheep.
Right. For me, I think that's the appeal. And what I think is really cool about this game, so if the name Paul Dennen sounds familiar to you, it's because he's the one that designed Clank. He's very famous for the Clank series.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember from the Clank series, he has a bag pulling mechanism. He also did Dune Imperium, which was another extremely hot game over the past few years too. Because he designed it, and because it was a train game, I was interested in it. But anyway, you're talking about the bag pulling thing. So what intrigued me about this, Tony, is this is a bag pulling game. But to me, even though you're pulling chips out of a bag, cardboard chips, it has all the feelings of a regular card deck builder. Because on your turn, you're going to pull 5 bags from the chip. Wow.
5 chips from chips. I like that.
5 bags from 1 chip. It's like I'm pulling a rabbit out of a hat. It's going to pull 5 chips out of a bag. Those chips could be your railway cars that are used to lay on the board to build track. Some of these are going to have dollar values on them that you can add up to buy a new chip from the market to put into your bag. Then there are some contracts that will tell you what area of the board this turn you could build a rail or build a station. And then there's some other different types of chips too, but that's the whole thing. So I love the idea of building my bag, trying to build an engine, out of it. But as I lay tracks onto the board, that's less train chips out of my bag. So I need to make sure to have ways to get more of my trains from the supply into the bag. And that's where the name Lightning Train comes from, because everybody starts out with a chip that has a little engine with a lightning symbol on it. When you pull that out of the bag, or any chip out of the bag with a lightning symbol, you get to add a train from your supply to your board to use, which will eventually go onto the actual board itself, the game board, or into your bag.
If you've played deck building, you understand what you're having to do. The goals, because there are goal cards here. You will have those that are come out. To get your victory points, you've got to figure out how to deliver these goods across your lines to stations you own, or through other people's lines to get to your station. I mean, the whole bag concept, it was just so straightforward. When we were sat down to teach it, other than a few little nitpicky rules we may have screwed up on,
Sure.
Other than that, there wasn't much to it.
There wasn't. Another thing I liked too was everybody has a player board. And like I said, you're going to be drawing 5 chips per turn. Your player board has other spots on there, a rail yard that you can assign your train cars to for abilities. For example, one of them is called Secure a Contract. That means on a future turn or that turn, you could have a contract anywhere on the board you want. You don't need a particular chip for it. Another one could be there's tunnels on the board. You need to be able to make a tunnel using explosives. You can assign trains to that area of the board to do that. To build stations requires a certain number of train cars dedicated to it, so you could put those onto your board to use in a future turn. Because on the map, you're going to see different cities of the U.S. that have train stations, and some require 2 cars, some require 3 cars. You spin those, and you'll be able to put a station on the board. Now, you're going to pull that from a pile, and the station will say, this city is looking for these types of goods. And at the beginning of the game, we pre-populate the board with several cities with goods, such as cattle, linen, gold, steel, etc. And then over the beginning of each round, we flip over a card from a deck that populates more of these tokens onto the board. So as you said, you're trying to build rails, hopefully from your station, over to a city that has that good. And then there's an action called deliver. You need to have a special icon on one chip to take a deliver action. You'll take that token and move it across. For every rail that you move across, the owner of that rail will get a point. It may not be you. Obviously, you want to make as many of them you as possible, and whose ever station ends up at also gets a point. So obviously, your goal is to move as many products over your lines to your station to get the most points.
Everybody understand that? Know what you got to do?
It's that straightforward. Yeah.
It's that straightforward. Some of the chips, let's talk a little bit about the chips. Some are pretty straightforward, that they're, hey, this is going to be a contract chip.
Yeah, and the contracts could be, it's broken up into regions, Northeast, South, Southeast, Rockies, Southwest, etc. And there's contracts for each of those areas. Some contracts, you start out with 3. Oh, this is also cool too. So this takes place in the 1800s. You started on the East Coast, and basically you're working your way to the West. And actually, one of the end of the game triggers is if you make the transcontinental railroad all the way across, and depending on the number of the players, a couple cities have to be connected to that transcontinental railroad.
It's just so that people don't throw a flag on us. You don't have to follow the actual path of the transcontinental. You just have to get one golden spike to the other golden spike.
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all just chill out right there. Yeah. So contracts, they tell you where you can build your rails or build your stations. Okay. That's pretty darn cool. Maybe there's some contracts that have, additional dollars to them because everything's about buying additional chips. So maybe you'll pick those up. You got some out there that have this, this little tunnel icon. Marty Tari told you got to go through the mountains. That tunnel icon lets you do that. Or, it's all blown up, sir. You may have to blow up some rock. You don't have to deal with it there. You got that chip. So maybe if you see where you want to build a bunch of your tracks through tunnels, you may want to pick that up. Another example of a really cool one is one where you get to build an additional rail. Oh, that's pretty powerful. You might want to do that. Oh, wait, here's one which beat the snot out of me last night when we were playing was, hey, you get to count your points twice when you build a rail. That's bogus, man. That was so bogus. That was wrong. I did not like that one because I didn't have it.
Bert and I really did well on that because the longer the track is, the more points you get for building a track. And so if you happen to pull the chip that says double points for any tracks built this turn, I was able to go through a tunnel, which usually gives you more points. And then instead of 3, I ended up getting 6. And in a game where we only scored, was it close to 40 to 50? 6 is a lot of points.
6 is a lot of points. Now, I will say this about, as with a deck builder, if you don't pull, you could pull that chip out, because this happened to me. You could pull out your special one. But if you don't have the trains to back it up, then you're not going to be able to really use it. And that's very important. If you don't have the right contracts, one thing that happened to a lot of people, once those contracts for certain areas, all the stations were built, or all the rails may be close, those contracts that are now in your bag are useless to you, except for the money value on them. If there is any, as with all deck builders, we're always looking for what is that culling mechanism. And there's one place on your player board, there's special green cards that have various conditions that you can do immediate effects or an ongoing effect that may help you. Those help you cull.
But they're few and far between.
They are.
You mentioned one spot on your board. As you build stations, you take cubes from your board and put it on a station. And when there's a certain cube, but when you place that particular one, you get to cull something that's in your on your board or in your warehouse. Which is off to the side. It's like the discard pile, basically. That's a negative for me. There were many times towards the end of the game last night. It's like you start out the game with 10 chips, and one of those is just a simple $1 chip. It's like, I don't want these anymore. These are just clogging up my bag because I have other chips that provide me 2 and do other functions beside that. But I had no way to get rid of it. So I do wish there were more ways to cull chips out of this game, because this is a engine building game. And my engine are those chips in my bag, and I don't want these dead chips cluttering up either like the contracts like you mentioned or these $1 chips.
But that also makes it more strategic when you're building the deck, because you really need to think, do I need to buy at this time? Is this going to help my end goal? Maybe I need to just, instead of every round buy, maybe I'll just pass. And there was an special one where you're private. You're a private train company. You can go public. You can flip a portion of your player board over to go public. And when you do that, there are certain advantages you get for, like, if you deliver, you get a lightning train. Or if you have $7 of income at this time, then you can get 2 victory points. Very powerful board. That's something that you need to consider. You can't flip it over until you get 2 stations, but still, these are the things that you're sitting there balancing with your deck. How do I manage that. Do I always need to buy? And am I accomplishing the goal? Maybe I only need contracts in certain areas and not look at all areas that I want to go to.
I will mention there's one other type of chip. I said you pull 5 chips from the bag. There are some chips that have a little plus symbol in the upper left. There are spots on your board that when you pull those 5, there's a couple off to the left that you can add the plus chips. And what that means is you're going to be able to pull more than 5 out of your bag at that time. There's another area on your board that you can flip over by dedicating some trains to it to give you 2 additional spots. When you go to the market and buy, those with the little plus symbol are really valuable because they don't take up one of your 5 slots, because they can be pushed off to the side in these plus spots, and you continue drawing until you have 5 just regular chips out. So that does help with the bag building or deck building also. You also mentioned goals. You do start out the game with goals that everybody's given, which is kind of puts you on the rails of maybe the path that you want to take to build. Like, for example, mine last night was you want a rail going up to 3 different types of producing cities like linen, steel, and corn. And if you do, you're going to get 7 points. So obviously, as I'm playing the game, I'm trying to make sure some of my rails touch each of those producing cities. I will say another thing that I found is some of those are really, really point swingy. And if you happen to get some of those that offer a lot of points at the beginning of the game, you can kind of make a beeline towards that goal. As in, some of those cards that you get aren't goal cards, but they're upgrade cards that maybe give you a benefit during the game. I know Bert won last night and the time before, and at the end, he had this huge point gain from his 2 goal cards, and none of us had cards that could get anywhere close to the ones that he had.
Yeah, he had one that was basically he was going to get 14 points. Now, I did have a 6 point, but so my goal card, in the game we were playing last night was for every train you build in the Midwest. So I'm looking for, you had to have at least so many tracks, rails in the Midwest. So I'm looking for Midwest contracts. That was what was driving me to my end game. And then one was for every 4 or more rail, you get points at the end. I'm like, well, dang, these two do not align because all the 4, the Midwest was cluttered with maybe 2 4s. The rest of them are these small little tracks. And I was like, well, this sucks.
You mean 4s, you meaning the length of the rail?
The length, the 4 rails.
Okay.
Yeah, the 4 trains. You put down 4 little trains.
Got it.
Now, a couple things I did like about the game, moving on to that, is one, the trains. When you're putting the trains on the board, if you're building out of your station, you get a free one. I like that. That was a very nice concept to have. There are various rules on when you can. If you're building off your own rails, you may extend those rails. You must always complete your rails. We didn't mention that, but everybody knows that. You can't build half a track. You got to build all the track. Some train games you can. The other thing that I liked is if there's ever a gap between the leader and the persons behind them, there's segments on the boards on the scoring track. If there's ever a segment gap, then those people will get a lightning train up to 2. So if you're way behind, they're going to give you some trains to hopefully help you catch up by building some rails.
Yeah, so there is a slight catch-up mechanic in there.
Slight. Good word, slight.
Yeah, it's not going to break the game. It's not like a blue shell in Mario Kart. No. It's not like going to for sure damage the leader or anything like that. So there's a slight catch-up mechanic. I will say, going on to my positives, I love train games. I love deck building games. And even though it's a bag builder, it feels 100% like a deck building game. Played a few times. This is definitely one of my favorite Euros of the year so far. If we can't talk about time played, we played 4 players. The box says 60 to 120 minutes. I think that's fair. We finished in just under 2 hours of 4 players. And that depends on how much AP you have, but we could probably do it in 90 or an hour and 45. So I don't think it stays on the table too long. And I was engaged the whole time. Mm-hmm. Because even when somebody else was taking their turn, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, or I'm pulling chips from my bag or taking what's in the warehouse and putting them back in the bag. So I'm doing something on somebody else's turn, and I just wait till it gets to mine before I can actually do my actions.
Yeah, same here. Even though I was sitting there planning everything, I was also watching what various chips you were buying to see if I was going to be competing with you in certain areas. There are some little rules that you have to pay attention to, like, oh, hey, wait a minute. You can only build 1 rail. You can only build 1 station.
Per contract.
You need to also understand how that if you're delivering goods, you don't have to deliver to a contract. I kept messing that up. You can deliver if you have the ability to deliver on your chip or special tokens that you get based on where you're a starting player or not. So you can always do that. If you have the capability. And there were some other little things. Just be sure to pay attention to setup and these other minor rules.
Oh, I will say too, we mentioned how to trigger the end of the game, like transcontinental. If that doesn't happen, the game only goes 12 rounds. So there is a fixed length of time. So you can see when the game is going to come to an end and plan accordingly. We thought there was an advantage to the first player being the one that flips over the goods when they populate on the board because they immediately get to see what new goods came out and take advantage of it. It doesn't feel like it was really that game breaking. Tony, you were first last night and didn't feel like you really got an advantage out of that when you did it.
No, not really. Because, first off, my tracks weren't anywhere near them, so it was no big deal.
Yeah.
Didn't really matter. Maybe if I was lucky enough, great.
All right, so Lightning Train by Direwolf, Paul Denon. The guy just keeps making hits. Clank, Dune, Imperium. I really like this one. Like, it's going to stay on my shelf, and when it gets to the end of the year, I will look back over and go, oh yeah, Lightning Train. That might need to be in one of my categories for potential Squirrely.
I think it will be on mine too.
So that's Lightning Train from Direwolf. You just heard in our last episode us talk to Ignacy from Portal Games. 2 games you need to go check out. Age of Galaxy, that 60-minute 4X style game that Tony and I were talking with Ignacy about. And the upcoming deck builder Bohemians, which he is super excited about, where he says he has fixed a couple mechanics that bothers him in deck building games, like money that you can't spend each turn because you don't want to spend it. Hey, maybe you can just carry it over. Or ways to use that money to actually cull your deck. Tony, we talk about not being able to, in games where we want to be able to cull cards and we can't. Ignacy is taking care of that for us in Bohemians. So that is going to be coming out at Essen. It's going to be pre-ordered right now. Age of Galaxy is available right now that you can pre-order. To find out more about those and the other games in his library, head over to shopportalgames.com.
5-minute initiative begins in 3, 2, 1.
We've talked about many games we've played on this show from designers Trevor Benjamin and David Thompson, mainly being the Undaunted series. We also talked about one that came out a couple years ago called General Orders. This is a short 30-minute worker placement area control game for only 2 players. A new version was released at Gen Con called General Orders Sengoku Jidai, which takes place during 16th century Japan. A lot of it follows the exact same thing we played before on General Orders, Tony. You're going to have little commanders, which are basically workers on a map. You can put your workers on a map to move people to new areas. You can place workers on a board to recruit new people. This one has ships. You can recruit ships or siege engines, depending on which side of the board you play, because there's 2 boards that you can play. You can draw new cards into hand, which give you special abilities. And basically, you're going to be trying to control areas that have stars on them. And at the end of the game, after 4 rounds, you're going to count up the number of areas you control with stars. Whoever has the most stars is going to win. So you're obviously fighting over certain areas of the board. When you move into an area with somebody else, you do a battle. Combat resolution is super simple, like it was with the first one. If I move into an area, the defender rolls 1 die. You can move up to 1, 0, 1, or 2 of the attacker's discs. And when you do, then you just go by attrition. You remove pieces one by one till somebody's left there being the majority, which will be controlling the area, or they're both gone. They both wipe each other out. So, Tony, the gameplay is pretty much the same. It does add the ships and the siege engines to make it feel a little bit different, and it's a different theme.
Yep. That was it. Well said. We got 5 minutes. Are we done? To be honest with you, between the 2, I'm not going to be able to differentiate them. General Orders, this one, it felt kind of way similar to me. All right.
It was.
I'll be honest. Nothing. This is a very good 2-player, quick strategic game. Don't hate the game. Hate me, the player, because I'm not very good at these. And there are some things that bothered me about this game. It bothered me about the original, and they carried it over.
And what is that?
I don't like the defense getting to roll a die. I don't like that.
You coming in all big and tough and sticking your chest out. I got some buildings there, so I got to provide some sort of defense.
You're in a freaking open field. Why do you get free shots? That makes no sense to me. I'm snuck in.
I see
Under
you
the
coming.
cover of night, you didn't. You didn't see nothing like that. I mean, the whole strategic thing about it is you're coming in and all of a sudden now you're at a disadvantage. Well, you're right. Luck of the dice. Get over it. Put on your big boy pants, except that's the way the game is played. And that's fine. That's what it is. It still rubs me the wrong way that suddenly now all my strategy is suddenly, hey, I am able to possibly do this. Oh, wait, I'm down 2 people. And now based on the attrition, I'm screwed.
Well, here's why that's important, I think. If the dice didn't exist, all you have to do is move in somebody with one more disc than the other person has, and you always win. There's no randomness at all. And then it's just like, I'm going to have 5 here, I'm going to move into your 4, automatically win. So that doesn't build any tension or anything, and there's no chance that the defender will win. None. At least the defender might have a shot of at least defending some. So I think that's why that's in there.
Well, okay, fine. Then from that standpoint, and I know I'm used to war games where you're rolling dice, like we talked about the Battle of Hoth, but it's one of those things where, the outcome is, okay, I know that I will possibly lose. Why would I go against your 5 in there with I'm only allowed to carry in 5.
No, you can move as many as you want.
Well, but I'm limited to number of 5.
At the end, yes. But if you want to move in with 10 and guarantee you win, you can.
Right, you can. So what's one of my first actions going to be? It's going to be to bolster my troops. My next action is going to be a move in. As we said in the original general orders, once you take that action, you can never move into a place that you're already at.
But you can recruit into that area.
Right. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to move in to there. I don't know. It just seems maybe playing against you every time, it seems like you were rolling 2s on that freaking dice. I don't. And then the one time you sieged me, and basically before my guys even, I've set up a position. Oh, he's going to siege. You have a 1 in 6 chance to roll a 2. You roll 3 2s. I'm like, this blows. But that's dice.
This game also has ships. Ships can attack land. Land can shell ships. The siege engines we talked about can do basically attacking adjacent areas, and based on the number of siege engines you have in this connected area of land, because you have to always supply. I like the idea there's a supply chain or supply line. You got to have a supply to everywhere to be able to control it, to recruit to it. So all that's there too. I like it. I still like it's a very simple 2-player war game. I think the biggest thing for me is this is a small box game, which is really cool, but that map is really, really tiny. And when you're trying to push in 5 discs and 5 discs into this small hex space, you go, wait a minute. Was this disc in this spot? Mm-hmm. Did you need more than 5 or was there 4 here? I don't know how you fix that except with either a bigger board or smaller player pieces. Mm-hmm. So just be cognizant. Actually, when I played at work with a friend of mine, we took the pieces off the board and resolved it, then put them back. So we wouldn't confuse them with what was in that space right there and not screw up. The cards are really powerful. There's one of the actions you can take to put your worker there, get a card. So each turn you're placing 5 or 6 workers depending on what side of the board you're playing. And then after 4 rounds, after all workers are in place, you're just going to count up the number of areas that you control. Well, with stars, whoever has the most stars wins the game. So again, a simple 30-minute 2-player head-to-head worker placement area control game. Tony just shakes his head. Yep.
Yep. Nothing wrong with the game. Once again, nothing wrong with the game. It's just one of those games. I understand that win by stars. No, you can win by taking over someone's headquarters. And the game we were playing, that's what I was always trying to do. I was always trying to put you on the defensive.
That's hard.
And it's very hard.
Okay. I will say between the two, you're right. There's not a lot of big difference between the two. The other ones had planes and different things you could do with the planes. I think I like this one better because the art on this is really, 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 really good. It's black and white art. It has the Japanese typography on it, stuff like that, which I really like. So if I was going to pull one of the two off the shelf, it'd probably be this one just for the look and aesthetics of the game. So that is General Orders Sengoku Jidai from Osprey Games.
5-minute initiative is complete.
Claptrap here. 2 big things are coming this fall. Borderlands 4 and Spotify Wrapped. So stop listening to that one playlist that reminds you of your ex who only made you cry. Talking about you, Veronica. And pre-order Borderlands 4, coming out September 12th.
Rated mature.
All right, Tony, before Gen Con, I actually got to attend 2 events. One of them is the Southeast Game Exchange. I was given a media pass for this event. This happens in Greenville, South Carolina, where me and my 2 sons go down there. First, we went to Rocky's Hot Chicken. I did not know there was a Rocky's in Greenville.
Didn't either.
Only time I've ever been there is the one in Asheville. So if you're ever looking for Nashville style hot chicken, Rocky's is a good place to go. So we went there and had that. Anyway, beyond that. So then we go to the convention center. This happens in Greenville Convention Center. And if you're into retro games, people, this is a super nice show. I've heard it's one of the better shows in the nation. Tons of vendors selling retro games and a bunch of old style video game components and magazines and player guides. And I bought a Guild Wars Factions player guide. Oh, babe, I was looking through that the other night. You talking about reminiscing, baby. Looking at that. That was so cool. They had a regular Guild Wars one, but it was really messed up. It's like, if I'm going to buy one, we're only talking like $10. It wasn't expensive, but the cover's all messed up. It's like, well, I know to look for this in the future. So yeah, I'm into retro games. We're all into retro games. So I, buy those and enjoy that. But the house has some really cool guests. I went and sat in on a panel for the music composer for Donkey Kong 64 and the classic GoldenEye 007 on the Nintendo 64. He's the one that wrote the iconic menu or pause menu music that everybody knows from that game. And he said, here's the thing. He said, if after I'm gone, people only remember me for 2 things, the pause menu music on GoldenEye and Donkey Kong rap, he said, I'm good with that.
That's pretty cool. So wait a minute. So this was something else you did with your busy life?
The Southeast Game Exchange.
Okay. I had forgotten about that. I mean, you went to this Star Wars thing and then you went to the Southeast. Man, you're all over the place, dude.
Yeah, so the next week I went to Las Vegas for the Star Wars Galactic Championship. I got to go out there and run a Star Wars trivia panel. 3,700 people from across the world showed up. So this was the worldwide championship. I didn't play in the main event, the main competition, but obviously thousands of people did. But it was a really good show. I really liked that it was very family friendly. In that they had a side vendor hall with a bunch of stuff that they were selling. They had a bunch of Asmodee games out there that you could play. They had a big old Lego station where kids could build Star Wars Lego stuff. They had a paint and take with Star Wars Legion figures. They had the designers out there that you could play games with. They had the artists that you could sign stuff with. The side events were really cool. Like I'd sign up for a side event and do like a draft or sealed event or something like that, or Twin Sons. There's some growing pains that happened with this one, with the way the side events were handled. You had to stand in line to get tickets. Then you had to stand in another line to actually turn in those tickets to do the event. And with thousands of people wanting to do it, it took quite a while. And then there's the prize wall. After you did an event, you earned points, and you could go over to a table called the prize wall, turn in those points for goods, which would be like alt art cards, play mats, etc. stuff. So they had a lot of stuff going on over those 3 days, and it was a wonderful event. It's going to be again next year at the Venetian in Las Vegas. Also the week before Gen Con. So it's going to be the exact same time. But it was a lot of fun. And as always, the community there is super, super nice. I played with a bunch of people I'd never played with before, and just everybody was just super cool about everything.
Did you bring back any good swag?
Tons. I got mats and cards, and yeah, I got a bunch of stuff. I think the best thing was, I bought you some. There were some metal tokens that I brought you back. I gave you one, just like an initiative token that I gave you at Gen Con, because they gave at the last day, they were just kind of handing those out to anybody that wanted those. So yeah, I will say that I did have this one interesting story though. So the Venetian is right beside the Sphere. You know, that big popular facility now they show in Las Vegas. It's the Sphere, where it has the video stuff on the outside. First night we're walking back from the convention center to the hotel, and there is a whole line of people wearing white to go over to the Sphere. This looks really weird, almost cultish. So it's like, okay, I know they're going to the Sphere. So I just stopped, pulled up my phone. What group wants their crowd to wear white? Do you know the answer?
I do now because you told me, but before then, no, I had no clue.
Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys.
The Backstreet Boys were there, and I guess you're supposed to wear white. So for 3 nights in a row, leaving the convention center, it was just a sea of people wearing white clothes.
Unreal.
I thought it'd just be a bunch of older people. We're talking people from teenagers and 20s up to probably 40s and 50s. So it was just a range of people going to watch them in concert.
That's unreal.
When's the last time you've been to Vegas?
It's been a while. Been a long while.
It's not good anymore.
Is it?
It is super expensive. I watched a video the other day. It said after COVID, it's like the tourism went down so hard after COVID, they just never really bounced back. And then all of a sudden, all those cheap places where you could go get a cheap buffet or cheap steak, it's all gone. Food is outrageously expensive now. So the advantage of going to Vegas was, hey, you can eat cheap and do some fun stuff. No longer. Everything's expensive. All food's expensive. It's one of those things I said, there's really no need to go to Vegas. If you've been, I don't know if there's any need to go back anytime soon, unless there's a special show or something you want to watch. There's just no appeal. And then I heard it was like the tourism was down like 20-something% this year. Just nobody's going there anymore. It's just outpriced everybody. And again, the whole stigma of Vegas was go, eat cheap.
Eat cheap. Be done with it. Or I did stay like off strip hotel one time, one of the best hotels I've ever stayed in. It's just amazing. So yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad you did that. I hope you get a chance to go back. I know you said you might be invited back, so hopefully they'll do that for you. Anything else before I roll our dice and get on out of here?
Yeah, one last thing. I got a couple keys to some old retro games, Tony, that just were re-released on Steam. Forbidden Realms, Demon Stone, and D&D Dragon Shard. These came out in 2004, 2005. So these are old classic. Some of these on PlayStation, some on PC. Forbidden Realms, Demon Stone is basically an action RPG. That's a very popular genre today. You're going around and you have a character and you're fighting this hack and slash type thing, which is really cool, but I wasn't really into the action RPG. It's the other game I was excited about. D&D Dragon Shard is a real-time strategy D&D themed game, but what's neat is you have all the classic tropes of RTSs where you're collecting resources, building stuff, but the characters that you get as they do stuff, they earn XP and they can spend that XP basically to level up. And so it's like kind of a cross between an RTS and an RPG, and it's really cool. They've updated the graphics to the point where you can play on a high def screen, but it's not necessarily a remaster. It's just a re-release sort of deal. But anyway, D&D Dragon Shard, I'm surprised I didn't play it back in the day because I was a huge RTS fan, but I missed this one. And I've been having fun with it. It's just fun kind of running around, killing stuff, leveling up stuff. You can create different buildings that generate maybe rogues or clerics, etc. So you can kind of build out whatever you want in the classic D&D party format.
Okay, yeah, I've never played this one. I saw him in the show notes, I'm like, what is he talking about here? I'm surprised I didn't play it either. I'm sitting here looking at it, pretty high ratings on like IGN and Metacritic. So
yeah.
And this is coming out again. Did I hear you right? Or
Yeah. So this was originally, that particular game was 2005. So it's been re-released on Steam.
Okay, yeah, I was trying to see where I'm watching the video now on Steam. Looks pretty darn good, actually.
Yeah. How much is it on Steam?
Let's see. Going to the community hub, opening the desktop. It's oh my god, it's going to break the bank. It's $9, 10% off today.
So there you go. A $9 game. It's worth $9, y'all, if y'all like RTSs and you like the theme.
You know what it looks like to me? It looks like a World of Warcraft RTS.
Yeah. It does. It has that same aesthetic because it's a fantasy type aesthetic. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, what's that thing with all the eyes that floats around? The big eye.
The Eye of the Beholder.
Is that what that is? Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty cool looking thing. So yeah, put that one in on the shelf with video games I don't play on Steam. Okay.
But put that on your Steam list to be, never purchased or buy, never play. So yeah.
Exactly. So, all right. With that, I think it's time to roll some dice
and take some names. Hey y'all, thanks for listening. Make sure to join our Discord channel. You can find the links over on our website, rolldicetakenames.com. Also there you can find the links to all of our socials at Dyson Names. I'm posting more and more to Instagram. Also, join our YouTube channel or join those social medias because sometimes I'll post clips from my recordings and you just never know what's going to show up.
Another sign of old age.
What's that?
Advil at Sam's, 1,000 count container.
And you have to replace it every 6 months.
Or less.
This show is part of Poderation, the nerdy podcast network. From D&D and video games through to ancient history and books of all genres, we are a group of podcasts all about things you can nerd the heck out about. We are currently looking for new podcasts to join the network. So if you know someone who wants to take their nerdy podcast to the next level, send them to poderation.com to get in touch.